understands what it takes to win, and ultimately will lock down games when they absolutely need to.
Do you think Sam McKee, and I'll say myself too, because I joined in on that, are way off base when making the Connor McDavid comments? I believe he said best player to ever wear skates. Is he worthy of those superlatives at this point?
He's getting there.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's quite attained that status, but he certainly has the package. He's got everything that it takes to become that type of player. I think he needs a little bit more longevity, and he's missing
What else?
He's missing a large trophy.
It's
Right.
It's.
I think we're talking
really,
about different things.
It's kind of not fair, but it's fair that we can sit there and marvel at certain guys over the course of their careers, and there's a number of them prongs in history that can go back to Marcel Dion, Gilbert Perreault. We're talking about very, very talented guys, but without that silver trophy, man, it goes down many notches on how they're remembered.
It does. And yes, hockey is a team sport, but I think they have shown, him and Draisaitl, the 1-2 punch that they have there, that given an opportunity, they can at least get them there. The issue is they need that surrounding cast to then chip in, which they did in the first 3 rounds, and now have not. Losing Hyman hurts in the goal front. Corey Perry has scored some huge goals for him, but they need more from the rest of the supporting cast to be able to finish it and win this year against the strong Florida Panthers team who, as I'm hopping on, you're talking about Todd Marchand, who plays on the third line. and has scored big goals for Florida throughout the course of this playoffs, and plays a pivotal role on that third line. And even their fourth line, they don't get a ton of ice time, but they don't lose momentum for their team. They're still dumping and chase and grinding, playing physical, wearing on their opponent, and not spending a ton of time in their own end, which gives Paul Maurice that comfort in knowing he can throw them out there and he can give the top 3 lines a little break when they need it.
Well, first off, Chris, not to correct you, you did say Todd Marchand. I think you've got some memories of your Anaheim days creeping in there.
Sorry,
who was speaking of Stanley Cups? Yeah, but to that point, like to the depth,
same stature.
Yeah, totally,
Yes.
totally
Yep.
different speed levels. I remember Todd had a little bit higher top gear, I think. But looking at the way that Florida plays and how hard they are on these top guys, and McDavid and Draisaitl obviously have held their own against everyone who keys on them every series. Can they do enough if these other guys don't step in, don't chip in? Are they special enough that they could do it essentially on their own? I know that's exaggerating. It always takes more than that, but you know what I mean.
No, I do know what you mean. I frankly, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. They've been able to will themselves into that first game. Whether they deserved it or not, that's for the naysayers to suggest. But I think they can get to even with those 2 players.
Yep.
But they are going to have to rely on some other players in their lineup to provide some offense or some momentum swings throughout the course of the game. And they get it sporadically, but they don't get it often enough.
Mm-hmm.
You're watching and listening to Chris Pronger, Hall of Famer, Stanley Cup champion, gold medalist. So, Prongs, I can't believe I'm going to ask you this question, but Sam Bennett falling on goalies, what are we going to do about this?
It seems like every time somebody bumps a goalie, something else gets brought up.
The
there may
irony
be
here.
2 people on this call that were involved with it, but
What do you think?
it seems to become a regular occurrence. And I fall on both sides of it. Do I think the latest one was on purpose? I actually do.
Which got the penalty?
Yes, of course.
Which was penalty worthy?
Which was a penalty, but there's a lot of people, former players saying that was not a penalty. Ekholm was pushing him directly to the side, and he fell this way. So
Right.
you do the math on that.
Yeah.
And Nick, you could maybe speak better to that.
Well, no, but at the end of the day, when we evaluate, it's like he gets up, he plays, and you move on. If he tweaks a knee, if it's a twisted of an ankle by chance, we are talking about a different conversation, correct?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. If Stuart Skinner is hurt, we are absolutely having a different conversation.
If you were behind the bench right now, what would you be telling, if you're Paul Maurice right now, what do you tell Sam Bennett? Hey, take it easy here. I mean, you're not, or just, hey, you're okay. Keep doing your thing.
Absolutely not. You do not tell him to change one thing in his game.
Okay.
He's their leading goal scorer. He's been money.
He's pushing the envelope though.
He is. And you know what? Sometimes you have to.
Okay.
And that's the way he plays to the best of his abilities, and he's playing at the highest level. For him, he's occasionally crossing that line and may or may not get a speeding ticket, as our friend Brian Burke used to say. But for him to play to the best of his abilities for the Florida Panthers, he's got to play on the edge. And from time to time, he will cross it. But that gets the most out of him. And they get the most mileage out of him and his skill set when he plays that way.
Prongs, what can you tell us about how important the situation is for a defenseman in terms of their ability to play the best? I'm talking about Seth Jones going from a team that wasn't very good. You plug him in on Florida, and all of a sudden, he looks like one of the 10 best D-men in the league some nights. Like, the way he skates, his size, he's even physical right now. Like, he just seems to be a different guy.
Well, I think sometimes it's the system that you play in, too. They have very tight gaps, Florida, that is. They have very tight gaps. They play with an edge. They're moving their feet all the time. He's allowed to use his skill set, his tools. Great, good skater. Maybe lost a step in the mobility department as we look at his early parts of his career and see him now. But good first pass, can provide offensive production, good shot. We've kind of seen him from the time he's gotten there to now throughout the course of these playoffs get stronger and stronger and stronger and really kind of feel out his role and understand how he needs to play to help his team win. And he's really flourished and thrived under Paul Maurice's system.
Hey, Prongs, a lot's been made the last couple of days with so much time off that Edmonton head coach Knobloch changed up the defensive pairs completely, all three of them. So what we've seen in the past between, I guess, Ekholm and Bouchard now looks like Nurse and Bouchard, Klimberg and Ekholm, and Wallman and Kulak here. If you were walking into that dressing room the other day and you saw all the switches and you weren't really told about them, how would that make you feel as a